Good evening, free enterprise fans. We have game two here between Possumorpheus and Dia. In the booth with me here, we have Oscar424 with Anadel tracking and good old Solaris doing the restream. How's it going tonight, Oscar?
I can literally and officially state that I was so excited to do this. I flew home to be here with you in the booth right now. Because I was literally on a plane like 3 hours ago. Hi, everybody. I'm doing good. How about you?
Not too bad. So let's take a look at this almost a deja vu rematch from the Threema Zone. Dia's up a game in this one versus Threema Zone where Possum was up a game. Do you think we're going to see a game 3 after this? At least I hope so.
I'm always a fan of game 3. It's just, yeah, I'm always a fan of more free enterprise. And I am a huge fan of this starting character. Hi, Eddie.
Well, he's not as good as he once was because the spoon flag is off. So if they start off with the spoon, it's going to be a sad time.
Yeah, I know. But he does have some niche aspects to him. That being said, the two random objectives we have of Get Rydia, which is a great anchor, and that one's okay, but defeating Valvalis, that can be spicy.
Yeah, you stick Val in certain spots, especially early on, like maybe back attack ordeals or at Fabul. Good luck getting through those early on. You're gonna have to come back with some extra levels because she has perfect magic defense and pretty high physical defense.
Yeah, I
when
think
she's in her spin.
Isn't what is that spot? Isn't Magus Sisters? So the first spot of Tower of Zot kind of annoying for her too.
Yeah, that spot as well too. High magic defense. There's a lot of spots where if Val's in her spin, you can't hit her with any magic at all.
Yeah, that just sounds like a whole helping of pain in a sadness bowl. Let's kind of hope that doesn't happen. But at the same time, it'd be interesting to see what these two runners could do, because Dia and Pasu are super good at this game. Let's be honest here, they're really good. They'll be able to figure something out.
And the big thing is wondering what the second character is going to be. Are we going to start with the Team 90 HP, where you start off with an Edward and a Rydia?
I'm pretty sure our runners would be glaring at our restreamer if that happened. Because, yeah, that's just... You gotta find items. And these two runners aren't necessarily known for for wanting to do a lot of looting. So, forcing their hand would be kind of fun.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what our starting characters are, not only at Hobbs as well, because Edward, like you said, has his niche things, but that can only go so far.
Yeah, I know, sadly. I don't think our best boy is long for this world, unfortunately. But at least at the beginning, especially if he starts with like a dancing dagger or something, he could put out some decent damage for what little time he'll probably be in our runners' parties.
Dancing dagger, maybe an elven bow or a samurai bow, just to get some early damage with him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But that being said, we are getting our start. So let's see who Best Boy is paired up with today. It's a meat sponge, and oh, that's cute.
And there's a dancing dagger, or not dancing, demist. Got to the demist at Baron.
That just puts some massive value in Baron there. That's an extra character. Or excuse me, extra key item check. Also, two other things I noticed with that starting kit. There's a black shirt, so if they're able to find a black mage, that's going to be great. Ninja helm, so it can help with speeding some characters up. And oh, by the way, our runners are rich. That is 67,000 GP they're starting off with today. What do you think about that?
Pretty nice high roll on that one. It's between 20 and 80,000. It's right there around the middle. I've dealt with some of the lower GP starts, and they can get pretty difficult early on, but having a Sid is excellent because Sid has nice versatility with his weaponry, and he can hit pretty hard early on if you get him like an ogre axe or a good hammer.
Yeah, if our runners happen to find, I believe, a dwarf axe, he can be a pretty solid anchor pretty quick. But our runners are doing some looting. They are going to completely different areas. We have the Watery Pass being checked out by Dia, and then Possu is checking out the Evelyn Cave, or excuse me, Evelyn Castle on his side.
Evelyn Castle has a little bit higher loot rating because of the 3 trap chests that are in there. And Possum's already found 1. There's only 2 more that we don't know where they are. If he can find both of those, he can full clear this area without hesitation.
And then shout out to our wonderful Restream team that if there is a game 3, they'll be doing it after this match. There were a couple slumber swords in the Watery Pass, so at least the seed's thinking of you.
Yeah, trying to have people take some naps.
Naps sound really good.
There's time for sleeping later.
I know. No sleep though, only for Enterprise. Let's see. Dia is going to be showing us who's the bed character today, and that is going to be a character. I think that was a Cecil. She went so fast it was hard to tell.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Cecil and Kane kind of look the same with their starting look. We found cabins and exits here in this shop. Going to be picking up a few of those. At least the notable items that Possum's found: an Aegis shield is really good defensive early on, and a firebomb. And a heroine robe.
That is great for our female characters that aren't in this party right now.
You know, I'd actually be somewhat happy to find a Rydia here on Hobbs, because you could put that heroine robe on her and she can do some early work.
Yeah, not just the fact that it's objective, but yeah, you could, as asked by one of our wonderful people in chat, you can let Rydia hit things. You can really do so with a heroine robe on her. Ooh, those mute arrows that Possumorpheus just picked up. I
think I might need to borrow Zoe's hat again. I don't know what to say.
Can I get a new commentator partner?
Look, I swear, I can't tell the future. Okay,
Heck.
I swear.
Heck.
Right.
That being said, CPU can be kind of annoying here. Rydia's starting with a dancing dagger as well, because of course she did. That's gonna help.
It'll help a little bit, but I did see an elven bow on Sid. So if Possum has the elven bow as well, Rydia's going to be doing some extra work for this team. I think the anchor maybe end up being Best Boy.
You know what? If Best Boy gets his time in the light, even if it's only his back, and that magnificent hair of his, I'll take it.
Well, he does have some wonderful locks. I will say that.
I mean, look at how they stand up and defy gravity while he's sleeping.
I mean, isn't that classical for these type of games? I mean, Cloud's hair was always straight up.
Final Fantasy, where gravity's made up and the hairstyles are just out there.
And it looks like Possum may be doing the same thing of Eddie taking one for the team and hitting himself. Oh no, I mistook the input. Maybe he's got other ideas.
No. Well, that's a thing on Dia's side. Dia did check these.
Yep, that's an imp summon. One of the dud summons that we can get from here, as we have Mage and then the Cockatrice, which are the other two quote-unquote dud summons, because you can get Sulfur Titan there if you're lucky enough.
I mean, the thing is with Imp is if you come across a very rude wyvern, you can do some really cheeky things by pulling out the Mega Nuke counter to words are hard to summons, and just spam Imp, because I believe it has a quick cast time, and just keep getting those Mega Nukes back and back and back. So,
yeah, it is one of the faster casting ones. And I would say every summon has their own little niche thing about them.
Yeah, like Leviathan and Bahamut make Rydia go burr. Everything else is there.
Oh, well, Azura himself turned her into a healer.
True, that's true.
And we've got a Dark Elf here sitting at Antlion.
Is it sitting though? I mean, that's a pose. It's like a H posing instead of T posing?
Well, yeah, so he's kind of standing, but in dragon form, is he floating? Is he standing? It's hard to tell when he's in his dragon form.
I just assume that it's exactly what I don't think it is. Well then, so speaking of, it's looking like this is going to be a potentially fast seed. That's a fun little magnet key there. So 7 minutes in, and our runners can already get underground.
Yeah, and it comes to the question of how do you route this now? Do you do the rest of your overworld checks before going underground? Or do you check your Fey March freebie, get Sheila 1 set up, and then go to Fabul?
Going to Fabul early versus not is always one of those coin flips. You want to try to limit the amount of times you go to Fabul and avoid the dreaded triple dip of Fabul, Sheila 1, and Sheila 2 separately. That's a nice self pickup in Agate right there. I could see our runners, and as Dia showing us, she's dropping that key right away. I can see our runners trying to, at the very least, do a double dip, or at the very most, excuse me, of setting up the pan and trying to hope for maybe a pan in the free March chest or a freebie at the Fey March bosses. I don't know. We'll see though.
Yeah, but this team, as some people say, it's a team of anchors. Early levels, I mean, if you find a Bahamut in that free March freebie, give me a free boss down there so I can get ready enough levels to be able to cast the Dragon God. I mean, nothing better than that.
Spoonword's better than that, even though it's not allowed in this flag set. But that's completely 100% biased opinion on my part. First to admit that. But yeah, reject percent is kind of annoying, especially early on, and you haven't really seen any other characters. Neither of our runners checked Baron in to see who's having a pint with the local folk. Yeah,
I wonder who's sitting there, which two bosses. Got a Sorcerer Robe on Dia's side there in the Fey March.
Sorcerer Robe and Samurai Bow, that is a nice double pickup right there. I don't think she'll be checking out any of the other chests. Those three in particular are really quick, easy pickups, and if you find the monster chest, great. If not, you take your money and run.
Yeah, usually you hope to find that trap chest early on so you can loot the rest of it, but it's a toss-up whether or not you continue looting. How much do you want to gamble on finding it?
Well, how much do you want to just have the complete seed open for you?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing of the seed is our oyster now, and we've got coffins and silk webs along with some mute bells.
Now, this is interesting on Possu's side. We now, depending on obviously who's the second boss, we have the answer to the Valvalis question available in Baron Inn with Kane. And answering Couch in chat, yes, that was the Darkness Crystal. Seed is completely open to this. Oh wow, that's a free Baron Inn. Yeah, Seed's completely open now.
Yeah, the seed is your oyster. You have darkness, you have magma. You can go anywhere you want to. And sitting there in the Fey March is a pretty easy moon grind, considering that you've got mute bells, you've got mute arrows, you've got everything that you need to do either eggs, get a bit more experience by getting your fifth character, for at least for Possum, up on the moon and doing some warlocks.
Yeah, though, looking at really quickly the Fey March bosses, that is Elements in Leviathan and then the Magus Sisters in Ashura. I claim to know very little about Free Enterprise, but Magus Sisters in Ashura sounds terrifying.
Yes, that is very terrifying. Half that Fey March terrifies me, and that's due to the Magus Sisters. Azura has very high magic, so those spells from Mindy are going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Dia completely noped out of that.
And it looks like we got a tower key on Possum's side from doing the Baron in. And also got his cane, too. So we have an answer to Valvalis. Doesn't matter where she is now.
This is interesting that Rydia, or Dia has chosen to do an egg before she went into Sylph Cave. I'm curious what the logic is behind that. Factoring, you only get so many eggs. We got, I think, one or two from the original starter kit, and then the second kit happened to have a second siren, or an additional siren. So right now our eggs are limited, and with only 3 characters, I'm not sure what that was for.
I wonder to maybe get some more levels on Rydia. Dia did end up buying the Sylph Summon, even though the Sylph Glitch is on, trying to stack up as much wisdom as possible to make that Sylph do even more damage. So it heals more and does more damage at the output.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Here's what some people may not realize is that not only do these summons have their own regular base magic, but they're also empowered by Rydia's wisdom.
I did not know that. See, you're the smart one. Wait, for the record, though, Tibble is, for those who don't know in chat, Tibble is very good at free enterprise, so he automatically starts off super smart. And that was a nice tiara that I just saw in that armor shop right there.
Yeah, it's a plus 10 wisdom stat helm for our good old Rydia. Finding some samurai arrows and samurai bow in another shop. So we've got a pretty decent ranged weaponry for our few people that we have.
Agreed, and Dia has actually found a pretty relatively easy fight defending or attacking Fabul. We just have 3 local imps that wanted to complain about the taxes or something, and they are gonna go home sad.
Yeah, so a free boss, 2 free bosses out of the pool effectively for the moon. Not something you want to see early on. So we've got Bahamut out and now Dark Imps. That's starting to make the moon look a little bit more scary.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, though, what's interesting about the Dark Imps and a couple of the free with an asterisk bosses, depending on where they are, they can be surprisingly terrifying. Dark Imps in a punchy spot? Ugh.
Yeah, very true. And to answer our question, chat, Solaris, the Sylph Summon was in Aggart out in the shop.
Okay, so Fabul be trolling, y'all. So defending Fabul gets you the pan, which means the best course of action would have been to defend Fabul and then go underground.
And on Possum's side, we find a Dragon Whip for our Rydia.
And a light sword. And that is the benefit of Possumorpheus finding that monster chest. He was able to loot the rest of the area, and yeah, just came out with pay dirt on them.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Rydia with the Dragon Whip and Heroine Robe and Dwarf Axe. I mean,
Yeah.
Possum's getting it's coming up all Possum right now with all that good loot he's finding.
Yeah, plus I don't really see him looting too much for much longer. He's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're always hoping for that little bit extra, but with the T Pro, it makes it harder to find really good loot besides in trap chest, and you're really not going to be hitting those when you have underground access with a possible chance of having sirens somewhere. So you're going to take what you can get, and most of this is pretty end game as it is. We still haven't built out our party yet to see what loot we really still need for our party.
But speaking of party, Dia definitely got her party started just now by bonking Yang with the pan. She was just given the party rock in the Earth Crystal. Now, with the Earth Crystal, we do have the potentiality to raid that treasury. I don't know if our runners are going to take the Earth Crystal up on that offer, but I'm curious. I'll be curious to see if they do.
I mean, usually you want to have like maybe the first half hour to be looting, but less than 20 minutes in, already getting the Earth Crystal, I can see the treasury being raided. Just with the fact of, at least for Possum, you've got a cane sitting there, not too much weaponry for him. You've got Rydia, and who else your fifth character is going to be? You're going to want to get him something.
Agreed. And if you don't know how the bracket flags work, there are 10 possible characters that can show up in a seed, meaning 2 of our wonderful cast of comrades have decided to just nope out, go to sleep, take the night off. That being said, because 2 have decided to nope out, there are going to be 3 dupes that we aren't going to be able to pick up because you can't have dupes in this seed. So there's a possibility, like that light sword with Cecil. Cecil might not even be in the seed, period. So it'll be fun to see which 2 characters have decided to say thanks but no thanks in game 2.
Yeah, it's always kind of nice to, I guess when you full clear a seed, you can figure out who the 2 characters are that are taking the night off, but you can have some pretty interesting combinations of people taking the night off.
I know another person that took the night off was Sheila. Sheila, for a very rare occurrence, decided to not have the goods in the form of progression, per se, but she is the resident, not so much the mother of dragons, she's definitely the slayer of dragons in this seed. She had the Dragon Whip, and which I believe was Sheila 1, and then the Sheila 2 check were already arrows.
Yep, so best arrows in the game, and Dragon Whip for Dia. So that edge is no longer on Possum's side.
Oh no. But yeah, Possum is checking out that fun check and probably getting annoyed with the fact that, oh yeah, I should have gone here first once he gets that pan. Meanwhile, we do get to see that that wonderful lunar shop, which hourglasses are a nice find, but I'm sure runners are hoping to find sirens. There is a 10% chance that we don't have any sirens in this seed, and I haven't seen sirens yet. And I think the only shop we haven't checked is Eblin Cave, I think.
We have checked every other shop besides that, and that one has a chance for 2 chances at sirens.
So what you're saying is I'm hoping they don't have them.
Well, there's many other options for grinding, and ooh, we have a Tella here on the moon.
Yeah, dollar store foo is probably not what Dio was hoping to see at this point. Maybe like I don't know, vanilla foo would be great. But if you want to grind, that Tella does bring something interesting to the table in the form of something you really don't see that, well, I think you've seen like once. D-Machine grinds.
The problem with the D-Machine grind is in this Lali-Ho League is we have Vanilla Giant turned on. So once you go into the Giant, you're stuck in the Giant.
And there could be some hilariously rude fights in there. I mean, the element spot I think has like 60,000 or so HP in and of itself, which is just a nightmare to deal with. And the CPU spot is just straight up rude. Possumorpheus getting the rude inventory boss, which is probably something he's not very used to dealing with, and trying to figure out what he needs and what he doesn't need at the time.
Meanwhile, Dia is going straight up the Tower of Zot, not even bothering with the treasury, going, nope, I'm good. I want more characters. But as you're saying with that element spot, if it's a single boss, it's 65,000. If it's a multi-boss, there's more than 65,000 HP in that spot.
Yeah, no thanks.
I think the Magus Sisters have something like 50, 30, and 40 or something like that. It's awful when there's multiple sprites in that spot.
Yeah, that just sounds like sadness. No thanks.
Yeah, no, I'll take my chances elsewhere for grinding.
Shout out to chat for rating that faded treasury. We've got a question mark out of 10, a faded out of 10, with a frowny face, classic D out of 10. I appreciate that.
Looks like Possum's got his pan and is going to be
he's going to the moon.
Going to be finding that Tella up there and some hourglasses. has not popped a siren yet, but we really can't deal with the dragons quite so much yet. We may have the weaponry for it, but those fights are going to take just a little bit, considering there's quite a bit of health there, and Tella's not online yet.
That's actually a very good point. They've both faded Ordeals, and now with Tella on the team, Ordeals is looking kind of decent right now.
Yeah, the only reason to really go to Ordeals is if you have a Tella or a Cecil, is that turns Paladin Cecil online, and Tella remembers all of his spells miraculously. Other than that, it's 3 bosses. You are on a boss hunt with Valvalis.
That is true, and yeah, Val is not a boss I'd want to see on the moon personally, out of all the locations. That just doesn't sound fun at all, but it also wouldn't hurt to check.
Yeah, that's very true. That looks like we got the Kaipo Guards here, another free boss here on the Earth.
Yeah, I'm sure Dia's probably not happy to see so much freeness on essentially not the moon. But it does get to those characters a little bit quicker, hopefully.
And we wonder who could be in the vanilla Valval spot. Anything with magic attacks? Gonna hurt a lot.
I'm always a sucker for Wyvern, just because I'm a horrible human being.
Just the surprise Wyvern?
Yeah. Gauntlet's always a good one.
Oh,
except in free spots. No Gauntlet, please.
No, always gotta have the alt Gauntlet at the Ogopogo spot. That's a fun one.
Well, you know what? If you want to be cheeky rude, you put it in like the Golbez spot or the super cannon room, where it's like, oh, this is supposed to be a very short fight. Not so much anymore.
No, and those spots already give you experience. If you put it like the crystal room and the Ordeals, you actually get experience there.
Yeah, that's fair. Is it the same for the Baron Inn location that usually doesn't give you XP?
That is correct. Baron Inn 2 and Ordeals actually give you experience if the alt Gauntlet is there.
Yeah, that's not a bad proposition if you ask me.
No, especially early on if you're fighting the alt Gauntlet, you're like, hey, I'm getting more experience when I normally wouldn't. And you're not going to hate that.
This is interesting on Dia's side.
We have a mop has been found. Meanwhile, Possum is doing some gold dragons.
With all that massive dragon gear on, most likely Rydia, it is very likely that she'll be able to take out these dragons quickly. That being said, Fu is Fu, and Fu does Fu things. So I'd say the longer Possu avoids going and doing the pan bonk, the worse that's going to be. Because if there's one person that is terrifying, even more so with mages, that's Possumorpheus' opponent.
This is true. The only thing is with the Val out there, Val on her spin has almost magic for defense in a lot of spots, and mages are not going to hit her.
That's true. So I mean, yeah, that's a very good point. So it's, if Dia keeps fading Baron in, you have that. Wow, that's a very guarded tower today.
Yeah, as we have another free fight in the Baron guards here. Not going to do too much to you. If you bonk them, they'll do a counter with size, cast magic. If you don't take them out, they'll counter with Piggy. But one simple quack from Fu and gone.
Yeah. And also, pretty quickly on Possumorpheus' side, he was able to take out those gold dragons. Kudos to that. So did get a little bit of a mini grind in, checking who's in the cave value, and that is a flavor of Mylon. We don't quite know which one yet. With that, Dia's going to show us what is in the Tower of Zot, and it's key item.
Yeah, you don't hate key items when you're less than 10. But package gives you another character and does hide a boss. But that's something you're not going to be checking early on. once you already have a Fu. Like, you're gonna be checking spots that, like going to Baron, there's 2 bosses here. Getting more spells for Fu.
Fair point. In our restreamer Solaris has mentioned that Mylon Zed is the one that came value today.
Have we seen Mylon and Friends?
Oh, okay. So Solaris is debating me. It's a flavor of Mylon.
Yeah, it's either Mylon or Mylon and Friends, as I like to say.
That works for me.
Would be a making quick work here of the wall, and soon Bahamut with her all-mage party except for Sid.
Yeah, I will be extremely curious to see what she does about Valvalis. Does she take the cane or does she risk it? I'm curious to see what she's going to do. Because Kane is definitely not a great fit for the party, if you will.
No, and in Dia's shoes, I would probably replace Sid with Kane, just so you have the Valvalis protection, and does not.
She did not.
Okay.
That is a bold strategy. It's honestly one of those choices where there are not many people that I could see making that call. Dia is one of them, and I'm here for it. Dia makes that choice. I'm like, you know what? I'm cool. You're good.
Well, yeah, as we know, Valvalis may not be required, as we only have to complete 4 of the 5.
That's true, and it's a gamble, but it could very easily pay off. It could. We're ignoring Plague right now because Plague, but Val could also be in an area that's not that terrifying. So, I don't hate it.
Yeah, any boss in this spot is really easy. The ones you really hate to see here, like the Alt Gal or even Golbez, that makes it even longer, or even Water Hag.
Agreed. And our runners are kind of rubber banding right now. They're Dia is checking some free boss locations, and then Possumorpheus is finishing up his checks. As we see Dr. Dialogue taking a nice little cold shower in the waterfall. Did want to give a quick shout out again to our wonderful behind the scenes restream team. We have the ever amazing Solaris that is doing the fun restreaming and rolling this beautiful gem here. And then our good old friend, the admin extraordinaire himself, Antidale, pushing all the buttons and making them look all shiny and pretty. So definitely give them some love, some follows. Of course, follow our runners, Dia and Possumorpheus. They're 2 of the best we got. They're heckin' amazing. And definitely give some love to my co-commentator, Tybalt, who is pretty heckin' awesome in and of himself. Even though I put him on the spot at the beginning of the race.
And don't forget about yourself, Asuka. You're amazing too.
I'm just here to meme. I like how that just shuts down everything. It's like, I'm just here to meme.
Well, we have Possum going up ordeals, getting that Tella online. And
They actually both are.
yeah. I mean, the only thing that's hurting Possum right now that's at Zot is the Fu that can make or break a seed. I mean...
Yeah, yeah, like I said, Fu. And Fu has nuke already. So that is... Yeah, Fu is doing Fu things right now. That is not good news for Possumorpheus.
And that Lunar Sparkle ended up being just pale dim. No back attack, Blarg. Sad.
No, unfortunately.
Still many other dangerous spots for the surprise Blarg to happen.
You're not wrong.
Could be hiding in that crystal room. You never know.
True. It is sad to see all my hopes and dreams of a back attack Blarg crumble in front of me.
Well, the thing with back attack blarg is that you actually do get some extra time to get the star veils up. Board face, as much as we say board face AI is out there that targets every single character you're trying to do an action with, he is nice in some ways of giving you a few extra time, since in the back attack the enemy strikes first, since it's a surprise attack. He gives you some extra time to get those veils up.
True, and I'm sad my quick little pun there paled in comparison to some of the other ones I've done before.
And just an elixir and Kinazo here.
There it is. There's the disappointment laugh.
It was a good one. It was a good
Which one? The one you missed or the one that
I think I got the paled in one.
Okay, so it's the one you didn't miss. Yeah, you missed the crumbling comment.
Oh. Well, you know, you can't get them all.
I know. It's okay though. But yeah, it's the idea to take out a turtle. Possumorpheus is fighting that turtle right now. It's a fiend, but not the fiend that they were hoping for. And I'm curious to see where Dia's going to be going next. I would totally see a tower play at this point. Nuke opens a lot of doors. It really does. So, yeah.
I mean, even to say some of the moon checks would be online, but you're really wanting 10 key items for that. So I would probably say Dwarf or Zot would be a really good place, as there's 2 bosses in each of those locations still hunting for that Val.
Yep, and Dia is showing us the tower. Meanwhile, we can see where Possumorpheus is going, and again, hopefully, like, for Possu's sake, I want to see him go to the Earth Crystal, but I also wouldn't mind seeing a dwarf play on the very rare hope that the dwarf castle just happens to have a duplicate foo, which I don't think I've seen a double foo yet. ... question mark?
There is a chance. We haven't seen all of the dupes, so there is a chance that there could be a foo there. I have seen it happen before, and that could very easily equal out the race, but it's still anybody's race at this point. There's still so much of the seed.
Oh yeah, and actually for Possumorpheus' sake, he'll be seeing that foo in the very near future. I wonder if when he's Possu,
he's doing it. He's doing it.
Is it time? Are we gonna play Rate That Treasury?
Looks like it.
Well, I'm gonna just bug out over here, especially with what Dia's playing. That is edge. An edge out of 10.
2 Murasames and a Gungnir spear and a crystal ring.
That's a can we find edge out of 10, please?
Yeah, as those are some fake Hanzos, which are some of his best weapons.
Yeah.
There's 3 other spots that could have an edge. Maybe 4. No. I mean, do you check that package that you get from here to see if there's an edge there? Do you check dwarf? I mean, in possums, you've got double Mura.
I would be more inclined to go to Dwarf Castle. The package check is bait. It's always bait. If Rydia hadn't been found yet, I would absolutely check the package. But since Rydia has been found, grumble, that is a nice dart. Speaking of edge, that Dia just found at the top of the tower with Excalibur. Heck.
How many darts are we gonna have in the seed for this edge if he's in here and not taking a vacation?
There is a lot of drain gear that's been dropping on our runners. Not gonna lie. lot of drain gear.
Yeah, and Drain Spear, one of the more cost-effective ones to buy in Dart. But we've got a super cannon room here, checked by Dia.
Hi again, Bigan.
This is an okay spot for him. He's fine here.
Well, that's because this spot is held together with wet tissue paper and a half-forgotten dream.
Well, you know, I mean, as runners, we love seeing him here.
Eddie with a charm harp could absolutely obliterate this spot. Let's go real here.
Yeah, this is true. But, you know, it's one of those things of finding a boss that you hate at a really easy spot. You're like, ah, that's a weight lifted off my shoulder. I don't have to worry about him now.
That is very true. Because Bigan is definitely one of... Actually, I've noticed in Free Enterprise, a lot of the earlier bosses in other spots are just brutal. Like, Bigan, you kind of die a little inside if you see Bigan in the moon. Same with Antlion.
As we may have seen in the past, Antlion loves to take a vacation on the moon.
And Antlion punch hard. Oh, it punch very hard.
But Possum's getting his foo, and is it the Quack Kid?
It is a Quack Kid.
Well, Dia's finishing up the super cannon room to get.
That is potentially it's required if you want to trade in the pink tail. It's also another character check, and it opens up the final shop that our runners haven't seen yet. That could potentially have sirens.
Dia dropping the Soma drop on Fu to give him 200 MP, so we can cast one more nuke.
Which is always a very, very nice thing to do, for sure. The more nukes, the better.
Oh yeah. You always want to have as many nukes as possible.
Actually, does Possumorpheus' Fu have nuke already, or no?
I haven't seen the HP. 1500, yes.
Okay.
Fu got
Gotcha.
nuke at around 12 to 1300.
Okay.
So, because Dia didn't have Fu before going up ordeals, whereas Possum already did ordeals.
Gotcha.
So he's just having Odin here.
And now I just feel the need to raise my hand for this fight, because we have an Odin.
Yeah. This is going to be just a nuke and a lightning from Meridia and goodbye. Oh, taking out the Tela for the yank.
Oh, it's like the Palom, actually. Or, never mind. Tela also goes slep.
I think Odin ended up taking out the Palom there.
Right. That makes sense.
Palom front row. Yeah. Odin hit hard.
It's okay, we hit harder.
Yep. And we have a king down. I think Dia did a checkmate.
To answer the question, chat, I don't remember what the Golbez spot was, but I'm going to be able to tell you in like 5 seconds. It's a sparkle.
So that would either be D-Lunars or Wyvern at this point.
Wyvern. No!
It's D's Lunars.
Losers. Get out of the spot. Ooh, sad bard noises.
I mean, with how we know how the D-Lunars work nowadays, they're really not that scary anywhere.
Yeah, I've noticed they tend to be one of the lesser concerning bosses, just because there's multiple ways to deal with them. It's war of attrition. It's just absolutely beat the living undead out of them, or just Froggo strats. Because frogs.
Yeah, frogs. Frogs is usually the way to go.
They're so cute, though.
And we have each other doing a little high five here. One enters as one leaves.
For some reason, and here we go with me doing a narrow strike range again, it made me think of an old, like, instead of going the Back to the Future route, an old Conan O'Brien skit where they did, like, in the year 2000, like, even when it was like 2002 or something. And it just clicked into my head that was 21 years ago. I'm old. I'm gonna go get my Metamucil. I'll be back.
We found some wine here in the shop.
Actually, no. Forget the Metamucil. Give me the wine.
Red wine or white wine?
Neither, because I hate wine.
Question for Dia now is, does she go to the moon or does she do the Fey March? That is the question.
Both of them are completely haunted until the one time you need them to not be, and then they're even more haunted. And you were wrong the entire time. You should have gone to the other spot. It looks like Dia will be checking out the Fey March bosses and try to take those on.
Yeah, if it's elements at...
It is elements at Leviathan.
Yeah, it's a pretty free fight, as you only have to go through half of it if you use reflect strats. But we'll just stop at the shop here to pick up some coffins.
And a silk whip. Ooh, we are staying at the Marriott tonight. Heck yeah.
Oh, deciding to save on that camping gear. No, we did find a shop with cabins in there.
Oh yeah, that's true, we did. Heck.
Cabins and exits was in that shop. Which shop it was? I don't remember. I think it was in Kaipo.
I was about to say, Dia is making a bold play by not saving. And Dia just realized what she was about to do and said, "Hold please," and walked right back to the save point. Thank you, Dia. Thank you.
Oh, not like any of us has made a huge mistake of going into a fight and not saving and then having to retrace our steps for the past 10 minutes. Never happened. Never.
Oh, Tibble, your stories are so charming. Oh, Dia is taking on the Magus sisters. Oh, this is cool.
I mean, if you can take out the back sister, the wall doesn't go up, and Mindy ends up doing a level 2 spell on her sister, so...
Which... Oh, that's a cute 576 damage.
Yeah, with high magic also comes a little high magic defense too, so... They hit you hard, but won't hit themselves very hard, unfortunately.
I'm not gonna lie, but this fight right now is very cathartic.
I mean, at least you don't have to worry about the nukes being reflected back onto you if you cast it on Cindy.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're definitely not wrong.
But we got Possum going up, Tower of Babel. Gonna be doing the top of the tower, getting the Axgal, and then doing Super Cannon.
Now, what's interesting for Possumorpheus' side is he's effectively retracing Dia's steps right now. Dia's made these checks already. So it's effectively, you could say Possu is a little bit behind right now because of that. I'm waiting for one of these runners to say heck it and go to the moon. Dia has shown us the first zonk out of Magus Sisters, just Dragoon Shield, which it's a nice like thing that you can slide around in wintertime, but that's it. Unless the element spot has value in some way, shape, or form, I think the moon is a good play. I also think the Luca key. I'd be curious to see what is at the Luca spot.
See, that's when it comes into racing, is that when you know your opponent, you're trying to counter what they're doing. So if you think your opponent's going to go to the moon, you're going to stay on the Earth to see, hey, they're going to the moon. I'm going to do something completely different to counter what they're doing. And I wonder if they're out metaing each other and just sticking to one thing.
Like a recursive meta kind of thing?
Yeah, like, because I can see Possum thinking, oh, Dia's probably got a foo. Dia's going to go to the moon. I'm going to stick on Earth. And Dia could be thinking the exact same thing.
And fortunately for Dia, it is working out since she is a bit ahead, where Possu, it's not working out for him because Dia's made these checks already. So I'm hoping for divergence of some kind. There's always the obligatory, when they go to the moon, they go top down or bottom up. Right now, because we are really key item poor, I could see both of our runners going bottom up just for... I just realized that the top of tower, it's a very appendagey combo of bosses with the Octo tentacles and the antlion tooth? Claw?
Pincer? I think it's a pincer.
It just... Antlion always makes me question my sanity.
Especially with those googly eyes.
It's the nose. It's... I'll deal with the googly eyes. It's the nose, though.
It has a nose?
Ooh. Well, debatable, but that's not progression on Dia's side, but it is a very, very valuable fake key item pass.
Yeah, it's not the P key item we're looking for. We want the pink tail. But we'll take a pass.
That is great if like all the values on the moon, it's picked up there, because you'll have to leave the moon to go do the thing. But with the pass, you'd be like, you know what? The moon was cute, but I can just go to Troya and turn in the pass and go right to Z. So in a race where it's you just cutting seconds is amazing, that pass is huge.
Looks like you're getting your wish as Dia's going
Yay.
down Luca. As I believe this is the last Earth check we have access to before the moon. Because we know where Demas is. Demas is sitting at Baron. It's the only other boss that can hold a key item.
That is correct, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so does Possum fade the Fey March and go to the moon, or follow in Dia's footsteps? Good question.
It's for his sake. I hope he goes to the moon. But at the same time, fading the Fey March means you miss out on the pass. And this Luca key check, it's easy to find out what the key item and the boss are, but you gotta walk to it. So it does lose some time right there.
That is true. But I know something, Possum, if you look at the runners, Possum's a numbers person. Loves the numbers. Whereas right now, you've seen the two bosses at Fey March. So you know you're not going to get your Valvalis there. Moon has 7 bosses and a ton of key items. So a ton of value for key items up there. I can see Possum going to the moon.
Ooh.
But that's a Legend Sword.
That is value in the Luca cave, or the sealed cave. That has to get walked out, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. Luckily we do have Fu with Warp, and that's a free boss.
That is free and free. Well,
Yeah, free and sad, because we want to see Water Hag on the moon for free experience.
no, you want to see Water Hag at like Super Cannon Room. That's what horrible people do.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong there.
Possum is going to be showing us the Evelyn Cave and the Hook Route character. Now, if Possum pulls Sirens here and, say, a Cecil, that could be pretty massive in and of itself.
Cecil or an Edge at this point. Light Sword, we got the double Mura. Like, those are huge for Possum at this point. But looks to be dealing with the inventory bosses. He can't buy anything. He's got to do some selling first, which You're just handing it over to the shopkeeper, going, no, don't give me anything. It's fine.
Let's get this out of my party, please. Thanks. There they are. There are the sirens.
Instant buy of 10.
Yeah, so that Pasu now has access to a grind that Dia doesn't have. We've seen the mute bells. I think we've seen hourglasses. So Possumorpheus gets his literal whatever check he wants to. So, or for grind. So that's going to be pretty massive on his side.
Yeah, Dia's grinds are kind of short right now, as it's doors. We like to call her LST2, so you take hourglasses and go to LST2 and just take random encounters, or do the moon bosses if you think you can. I believe Dia has 10 key items now, but just a Yang sitting there. Another physical fighter, what we like to call the punch mage.
It is a physical fighter, but probably not the one that Possumorpheus was wanting to see. If he's looking for that edge or that Cecil, I could see him checking the package and doing an instant reset if it's not what he wants, and then going to Moon, but I
wonder if he goes back, checks the save spot, and checks the King Queen Evelyn spot. But
ooh,
get you in the Rydia.
Yeah, I don't know what equipment we have for that Yang yet, but that either screams a potential Yang anchor, which sounds weird in my head, but I'm also a lot less knowledgeable in this game than Possumorpheus is, or potentially hybrid strats of some kind.
The nice thing about Yang is that without any equipment, Charm Claws included, he doesn't need any gear for damage output. He just needs levels. But being an anchor at base level is really good. We have a Rosa here.
That Rose is going to stay right there.
Yeah. We've got Fu. We've got our White Mage.
We have Fu. Period.
Fu is our White Mage. So yeah, really don't need any gear for Yang to get his damage output online. He just needs levels. That's why we call him the Punch Mage. Or with Possum,
That's telling me a sealed cave check. If he's stopping right there to get the heal, so that's going to be a good check on his part. If he goes to sealed cave, so he can get that legend sword.
That is very true, and when you're just looking for a boss and a key item, the moon looks more appetizing. But we got Dia going down in here to cave value. Will she pop some? Oh, she doesn't. Oh, I think she only has the one siren right now.
The one.
I wonder if she's hoping for a Mylon and Friends here. I think would be the freer one.
We're gonna find out.
Dance party.
To answer your question, chat, we started off with, I believe, 2. There was at least 1 in the second starter kit, and I don't know what's in if it's 1 or 2 that you start off with in the guaranteed starter kit. But she had used 1 early on. She hasn't gone to the hook route yet, so she doesn't know that there are sirens available for purchase. Which, another thing to consider at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 key items. If this is key item 10, those sirens become less viable. At this point, you can boss grind on the moon, potentially.
Yeah, especially down there in the D-Lunar spot, you can get upwards of 200,000 experience right there, and that's almost half of what you actually really need, unless you're going full mage party, and then you need a little bit extra.
Agreed. And speaking of that mage party, going back to the potential Valvalis problem, what spots on the moon are absolutely tragic to see Valvalis in? I think K Value was one of them.
Yeah, I think it's every spot besides Pale Dim, if I remember correctly. Every other moon spot, she cannot be hit with magic.
Well, Sid, do Fu things against Valvalis, please.
Correction, I was wrong. This is the only spot on the moon that you can hit her. with magic.
Oh. Well, that's a bummer.
Yep. Every other spot has perfect magic defense of 255.
That is a Womp Womp right there. But a Womp Womp is not a legend sword, so we do get to see Possu fighting off. I can't remember who was here. Oh, Water Hag. It was so free that I completely forgot the fight.
Yeah, free fights tend to, you forget about them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Edward forgot about Water Hag.
You know what? I will find the strength to carry on through that comment.
As that K value was a good old strength womp.
Hey, it had a nice ring to it, all right?
Oh.
I mean, if you want to try clawing your way back here, it'd be awesome if you did.
I don't think I can.
Tybalt's like, I never want to do comms with her again, which is a common occurrence for most people that's paired with me.
No, it's fine, actually. I'd rather enjoy it. I really do.
Famous last words. But we do see Dia taking the lunar dive. We get to see she did go to K value, so it kind of gives the impression that she's going to be going top down. That being said, though, again, we are missing almost every single key item we need right now. So bottom up. Well, I was gonna say bottom up, but Dia just said no. I want to go top down because reasons.
Yeah, with the not 10 key items, you want to save those lower boss spots for when you have 10 key items. And then you're min-maxing your amount of experience. Possum, hard to say which way he'll go. You're looking for more key items. You want to hit the LST lower down. It does have Sirens, so we can compensate for not having the boost of experience from 10 key items. Whereas Dia doesn't have the Sirens. It wants the 10 key items before hitting those lower boss spots.
Julie, what are your thoughts about Mom Bomb at this particular altar?
Mom Bomb here hits hard. Get a couple blinks up. You've got Fu with Nuke. Give me a Fu with Nuke and some bodies to put in the way. You can get through most of the moon. Like, it's just going to be a power of attrition of just keeping everybody up to have as many targets as possible while Fu does all the work.
Yeah, I saw that damage out of Mom Bomb just then. That was, that was painful to see.
Yeah, Mom Bomb hits hard. If you can get it into the next phase of the little bombs, you can do an hourglass, and then the fight becomes completely free. It's just a matter of getting her to explode.
Now, does that explode do physical damage, magical damage, Final Fantasy IV weird things damage? What does it do?
Fantasy IV weird damage, because it generally is supposed to do the amount of damage that you have left for health, like Kamikaze. So Baigen's arms do the same thing. You want to damage them a little bit before they actually explode, so they do less damage. Mom Bomb, on the other hand, is a special case. She's actually given an extra near 10k health in every spot, so the script actually continues through.
I gotcha.
So you really don't want her to explode, because she can still explode for quite a bit of damage.
That definitely sounded like a ghastly proposition to have to deal with. So Mylon Z is being, or Mylon and friends is being fought over on Possu's side.
I don't know what to say. I really don't. I may think of something eventually. But my mom's getting ready to explode here.
Is it a turn-based thing with how long it takes her to explode?
Once she gets into this phase, it's a turn-based thing before she does actually explode.
Gotcha.
You have to get her to this position, and then it just takes a few ticks for her to actually explode. But Dia does get through it without the explosion. Loses a little bit of experience. Just gets a heroine robe.
I'll have you know you lucked out, because I was hoping Possumorpheus could take out Mylon at the perfect time, where the "Oh My Body" showed up on screen, and I could totally play that off on Mom Bomb. You are lucky, my friend.
Oh, trust me, I was thinking the same thing with the Mylon.
Fair. But yeah, the heroine robe is nice. It's not progression though, so our options are getting more and more limited, and they're more and more leaning towards a chain of some kind. So, an interesting factoid is you're looking at this again. You're seeing very likely chains going on. How many key items do you get before you chase them?
Dia's side, Dia has the pass. In reality, with the pass, it's hard to say. You can pretty much, you've got the party, just full clear the moon, you're up here, don't worry about it. If you were looking for, let's say you find the key item to finish off Forge, okay. Something like you find both key items, the Pinktail and the Adamant sitting at the ribbon room, okay, you can go do that real quickly. But if you find the Val up here as well, like you're gonna have go mode and then you just have the pass to get you straight to Z. So it's really hard to say which is a better run. Do you save scum your key item that you get up here and hope for a long chain, or do you just full clear the moon? I'd full clear the moon, given the extra levels.
Yeah, that is a very good proposition. Again, though, Dia's party versus Valvalis, that's another thing to consider. Like, is the time sink going to be worthwhile? Especially if you're dealing with a high magic or a perfect magic defense spot for that Bikini Tornado? Or is it just worth it to be like, I'm good, and leave?
And that becomes a problem, is like if Valvalis is at the D lunar spot, that can hurt Dia a little bit here, because only 2 people can really hit Val in her spin, and Hi Wyvern took over a Plague Spot.
And Dia is showing us the wonders of run buffering on here. It's definitely on the list of black magic that I could try to explain to you, but I would kill my brain because I don't get it. But
yeah, I'm right there with you. I understand the very niche basics of it, but that's about it.
I understand it's smart people things, and run buffering is like super smart people things. But again, Possu is following in Dia's footsteps, which he doesn't know it, but that's not good. It's because Dia's seen all the checks a check before Possu is, so yeah.
The only thing Dia really has up on Possum is the 2 Feymarch checks, which really isn't hurting him so much.
That's a very good point.
At this point, so it's still a toss-up. But Dia gets through the Wyvern without an issue, and we'll see if we have any value here.
And that is value. And now here's where you start thinking: chase or continue.
Problem with that is it's 1 boss, 1 key item that possibly could lead into a chain.
Oh
Whereas
god,
you've
if
got
that
3 key item checks right next to you, you do the lower LST first.
If that twin harp was triple required, I would lose my mind. It would strike a chord with me.
But it looks like Dia does have a few extra sirens, though. Looks like we may have gotten possibly 2 in the first kit and then 1 in the second one, as Dia has 2 sirens. Used 1 and has 1 more left.
And that is the 10th key item as well. So that's a that is going to be double EXP on her end. So can't fault that logic.
Gonna be hoping to get Nuke on the Quack Kid, and probably will not get Nuke on Rydia. For the last 2 boss spots here on the moon, I'm gonna be able to get the Nuke on Rydia. Rydia has a really extensive experience curve.
Do we get to potentially see nice 2-strats? Early?
Maybe. Looks like the life was just a little early.
I blame Rydia. Is it an agility thing? That Rydia was just a little bit too fast, or Palom just too slow, or
once everybody's RA1, it comes down to timing. You have to time it right to where you're in half cast of the Ice 2, so the Ice 2 comes out first. It's a timing thing. Once you get to a specific, RA1, if everybody's RA1, it doesn't matter who has what agility. They're going to be going in the same order every time.
Nice.
As we can see, the order is Fu, Rydia, Palom, Sid. That's the order that's going to go in. Because Final Fantasy decides to be weird and have the party order completely messed up.
Final Fantasy IV is a finely crafted video game. What are you talking about?
Some would say it's finely crafted, others say it's held together with duct tape and shoestrings.
That is an insult to duct tape and shoestrings. And that's why we love this game so much. But hey, in chat, I see a lot of names I recognize, but I also see some names I don't. So, hi people I don't recognize. Does this interest you? Are you enjoying watching this? Because guess what? We've got a pretty awesome Discord that has a lot of really smart people that play this game. Myself, not one of them, but Tybalt, Dia, Possu, Antidale, a lot of you in chat. They're pretty heckin' cool, and they give some fantastic information. So if you want to get involved in Free Enterprise, go to the Discord, have some fun, meet some people, and become smart like them. Because everyone's willing to help. We only bite on days that end in Y. Also, if you like doing stuff behind the scenes, guess what? We are always looking for people on the Restream team. You can put on this show and be the Restreamer and roll what our runners race. If I don't go, you can quite literally push all the buttons to make them look shiny. Or if you I love Home Cook here. If you want to just sit and talk about the seed and just be like what Tybalt and I are doing, we love to have you. So definitely check it out. And we'd love to have you. But yeah, Ogopogo. There's people not happy to see this Ogopogo right here.
Yeah, the interesting thing is for each party composition that's out there, it's still a very doable fight. On Dia's side, you have a nearly full mage party. If you try and cast magic on Ogo, he counters with Blaze, which does 25% of your HP. But if you put a wall on somebody and start reflecting magic, you can hit him with the nukes and not worry. Versus Possum's side, he's got 3 physical fighters. Zerk him up, and maybe Ogo gets some more waves out, because those Zerkers are going to be going to town.
Ogopogo is ones where you have the script, and Ogo says, no, bye, and just throws it out the window. So this is a boss you really want to see in an easier early game spot, and never on the moon, or never in someplace that's just heckin' rude. Like here, shockingly. But these runners, they're in the top of this tournament for a reason. They should both be able to handle this in their own different ways again because of those comps being slightly different.
As we see, Virus is being reflected off Atello's wall to hit Ogo Pogo to not take the Blaze counter. Keeping that Sid Zerked up, just going to town. I believe has the Arty arrows and Samurai Bow, so doing some work on that Ogo.
Now, when you have reflected spells, do they do slightly less damage than their direct cast counterparts, or is there much of a difference?
Nope, there is no difference. The only thing that doesn't happen is anything that is scripted to be a counter, like Blaze. You don't get the Blaze counter. If you reflected nukes off of your Wallcaster onto, let's say, Azura, she doesn't do her counter script of bonking you once.
Gotcha.
My only theory on that is that they tried to prevent against, if you reflect a nuke off of somebody and it goes onto another character that has a wall, it doesn't automatically bounce off of them. It only gets one counter.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, looks like it's just Kane and Fu for Possum right now. Only a Palom difference for Dia here.
No, that Sid's definitely doing comparable damage with the Arty arrows, since those are anti-dragon artillery right there.
Yeah, but Ogo is not a dragon.
Because of course he's not! Because this is a finely crafted video game. Like, Derek missed, it looks like a dragon. Is it a dragon? No, it's not a dragon.
Ogo Pogo is like Leviathan. It's a sea serpent. It's a snake, not a dragon.
No, it's a rope. It's a note rope.
So would that make Leviathan a danger noodle?
No, it's a Sog Champ. It's dinner.
But looks like Dia is through the Ogo Pogo fight first.
It was a well done fight, and that is... I mean, the Stardust is really nice for mages.
We got a stat stick and a sand ruby.
Yeah, that's a thing.
3 spots left for key items right now.
Yeah, this is... you know what? I could totally see, and because I'm always... I'd find it hilarious if Twin Harp was triple required, but I could see Baron Key having the goods as well. And by Baron Key, I mean that D-Mist.
Yeah.
It's been taunting us since the beginning.
And that Baron Key gates 2 bosses we haven't seen. Total of 3 key items, possibly, so that Baron Key holds a lot, and...
That's a comment!
I mentioned it earlier, we have an alt gauntlet at the Ogo Pogo spot. That is a very, very rude alt gauntlet, as you have to deal with, and this is me going off my mind because I've done this fight quite a few times. It is a evil mask into a behemoth, into another evil mask, into a red dragon, into a double red dragon.
And don't evil masks cast wall?
Yes, they cast wall on themselves and cast wall on you, and then start reflecting light and then nuke off of themselves.
Nice. As mentioned in chat, that is a free grind. Hey, that's value.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's a tornado bikini. We found Valvalis, and Dia is switching up equipment. Sticking the heroin robe and dragon whip on Rydia, so we have at least 2 people that can hit Valvalis in this particular spot.
The magic at this spot isn't that great because, ironically, it's the normal home of the boss on the right-hand side of the screen. Am I getting my thrones confused or whatnot?
This is the Wyvern spot. So the game wants to be nice to you and make sure you survive the opening Mega Nuke. So it does have a little bit of a lower magic, but it does not have. It still has perfect magic defense in this spot. So when she's spinning, can't hit her with magic. And her physical defense, it's not perfect, but it is still quite a bit.
That'll be I think Possumorpheus will be in a much better spot when he deals with this particular altar because of that cane. Dia, that being said, she should be able to eventually get through this with Rydia being a physical fighter now, with Sid being a physical fighter, but I say that very loosely because I saw the damage Rydia was putting out, and this is going to take a while.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. I want to say it's like 40,000 HP here. So it's going to take just a little bit to get through this particular fight. Possum with the cane going to have a much easier time as he can knock Rydia out of that spin and start casting nukes.
Oh, I got you. That was going to be a question I had. The benefits of taking her out of bugle form.
Yep. When she's in, there's a toss-up though. When she's in her spin, she'll cast weak. She'll do one punch and do a ray, which does a single of a petrify. You need 3 rays before you're fully petrified. If you take her out of her spin, she hits twice and then goes back into her spin. So it's a toss-up. Do you want to take the extra hits, be able to hit her with magic? Or do you keep her in her spinning form and just have to deal less physical and no magic damage?
Well, I'm wondering what does Sid have equipped? Is that the arty arrows or samurai arrows or heck?
I think he has the arty arrows, samurai bow, and I believe a black belt, and maybe the strength ring as well. So he's got a bunch of physical multipliers.
Gotcha.
So that's allowing him to get more damage rolls while she's in her spin. Sid has a very high strength natural gain to him. So him doing the 1,000 to 2,000 is a decent amount for him in a normal situation.
Also, not gonna lie, I low-key am hoping Alt Gauntlet has the Baron key. Because I'm a horrible person. Just gauntlet things.
Possum's gonna be zerking up his Yang here, probably do a bluff on Palom, and then start getting blinks up with Fu. Blink's make an extra copy of herself, so those physical hits that are gonna come from Val won't do anything. They'll just be hitting air.
That being said, Dia was able to get through that Valvalis fight, which was with very little HP left, and survey says, well,
sorry.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, Dia still hasn't gone down the hook route, so it is an exercise for a grind.
Yeah, at this point, I'd probably chase that harp, because harp is at least a required objective, and it's not the gauntlet.
This is true. I can see Dia coming down, popping the last siren, as she's doing right now, to get that gold dragon up. And that's one of those questions, do you put a save spot up here? I mean, Twin Harp is a required objective, but you can do that into the pass.
That's true. Dia has something that Posse doesn't have with that pass. So, yeah, I totally see her taking this fight, getting a little bit more levels, and then checking out that potential Twin Harp.
Possum doesn't, but that Alt Gauntlet is a long fight.
Oh, absolutely.
And you really don't have, at least on Possum's side, the only one that has anti-dragon weaponry right now is the Sid, which is taking a nap.
Yeah, and considering Dia and Pasu are 2 runners that can do very, very fast seeds, Gauntlet is not something you want to take unless you absolutely know it's hard required, just because of how long it is. So I don't see that being a risk that Pasu, even if he feels behind, would take.
No. And it looks like Dia is going to go around, maybe stop at the shop again, or just went to the wrong location. Yep. Immediately landed and is going back to the Blue Planet to chase that harp.
That is music to my ears, Sybil.
Well, I mean, we are going to be listening to some good music here eventually, hopefully.
Cue that Futurama character that says, "That's the joke."
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could help me out, remember who that character is, I'd be really appreciative. It's like Rex something.
Dia doing something spicy here.
Oh, Simpsons. Okay, chat. Futurama and Simpsons, they're like, it's like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego and Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. It's the same thing, just in a separate time.
Now here's something spicy from Dia. Dia went up and picked up the purple chocobo outside Baron to go to the Twin Harp. That purple chocobo only shows up after you turn in the darkness.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when you turn the darkness, there's a purple chocobo that shows up there. And for Dia's sake, this is actually a really heads-up play, is when you get back on the purple chocobo, it goes right back to its home spot, which will put you right in front of Baron. So if Baron Kia's from Twin Harp, it puts her right in front of Baron again.
What?
You didn't know that?
I'm lucky I know the characters in this game that aren't Edward, okay?
Yeah, after you put up the darkness, that purple chocobo shows up there. It's not there without the darkness crystal. I believe that's also in vanilla.
Actually, the only form of vanilla I've ever played is the PlayStation version. Which doesn't really say anything other than I still don't remember much of anything. But I'm gonna shut up now because we have some DJ Spoony B about to hit some awesome tunes on y'all.
Well, this is the quiet time? I thought we'd talk over this.
Hey, if you want to get banned, go right ahead. I walk that line on the daily.
Yeah. We'll see what DJ Spoony B has for us tonight.
Those are some heckin' nice tunes from Calamity.
Yeah, that's very true. So I'm not sure.
Oh,
Ooh,
that is mega value right there.
that puts both runners in go mode. Dia has the pass and is able to quickly get to Zeromus, whereas Possum has to
to walk the entire LST once more.
Oh.
Oh, this is
So the question comes to me: Does Dia have the levels that she needs?
Dia is one of those people that can do more with less. Though she is. Oh, that's interesting. She still has to get the hovercraft. It's like, is she going for sirens? Oh no, she has to turn in the pigtail, and shockingly, you need the hovercraft for that. But Dia can do more with less. They're both heckin' amazing runners. So I wouldn't be surprised if Dia goes to Z right now, or once she gets that pigtail value.
Well, here's something else interesting. We were mentioning how Alt Gauntlet isn't required. It's the other path to Go mode. It has to be.
You're right!
It has to have either the Rat-tail or Baron behind that Alt Gauntlet.
Oh, I love it. I'm a fan.
Because we've seen every other key item check.
That is true. And that's an Artemis bow. Yay.
I mean, it's a really good bow. Great for a Sid. But I don't think Sid's going to be doing much damage in Zeromus. I think Dia might be going full reflect here. But looks to be utilizing that pass.
Oh yeah, let's see those levels. 50s. Yeah, that's yeah. I can totally see Dia going right now.
Yeah, Rydia doesn't have nuke, but you've got 2 nuke casters, as in Palom and Fu. Yeah, that's really what you need, is just 2 nuke casters. 3 makes it go by faster. But
you can bring up the hey chat, now's the time.
I was about to say, because I'm starting to see some flags in chat.
Yeah, looking at the script here. Hold on. Nap time. ... Let co-commentator respond.
Nap time. I mean, it is pretty late, so I mean, I'm down for a nap.
Yeah, me too. But I will say that unfortunately, even though I'm tired, it's not time for a nap because it's time for something else. And Zeromus is a bad heckin' evil mop, and we can't really move Zeromus because it's big and scary, and we don't want to see it in an easy spot like the super cannon room. So instead, we keep it chained up in the basement, and we make it turn into something else. And there are 528 or 9, I'm not sure after the Lotus, but still, there's a lot of sprites, and it turns into one if you use the crystal and if you ask a very specific question. And I like having my co-commentator ask that question because I put him on the spot earlier and I don't feel bad, but I'm going to act like I feel bad.
So the question we must ask ourselves is, whose bottom are we going to beat tonight?
Yeah. Or the morning if you're on the East Coast, or earlier than the East Coast.
True, it could be, tomorrow for some people. But we have Teleth throwing out that crystal and doing what he does best.
There is a 528. I can tell you specifically which one 528 is.
Well, let's see. It looks like Possum made a quick stop at Fabul. I believe picked up some vampires. Gonna be turning or looking for something else. Maybe some Starveils. So I'll ask you, do you know who this is?
Oh my god, I'm crying up right now. I'm tearing up right now. Okay, so all right, this is Mom Miss. This is a character in the game Mom Hid My Game, or the Android version Hidden My Game by Mom. And the reason I'm tearing up in this is it is a really derpy, comical, bizarre, messed up point-and-click puzzle game that I happen to have 2 world records in for the speedruns. So yeah, this one hit me kind of hard just now. I actually just updated the world record for this on my birthday. Yeah, Tim, you're on your own on this one. I'm just vibing now.
Oh, looks like Dia is sitting there. Did the Star Veil up on Rydia and is starting to throw out the nukes and fire 3s to do all the reflected damage to Zeromus to skip what we call the refill. As in this game, it's coded to where you can only have a max of about 65,000 health, but we want the end boss to have more than that. So at about 40,000, he does a counter script and refills back up to full. But if you reflect spells, you don't have the refill. You only have to go through half the fight. India's hoping here that Mom here is going to be going down here fairly quick, because you're going to have to throw the crystal to nerf any other big bangs. He'll maybe be getting through here fairly soon. I think I've seen some 6 and 7k damage.
Yeah, with reflect strats, they tend to be very quick. So I don't see Mom miss long for this world right now.
No, I don't. As I just saw a 9k nuke from the Quack Kid. Their Big Bang comes out. Rydia is going to be taking a bit of a nap here. Sid may be the only one to still be standing, but it looks like...
It's telling when Sid gets high rolled at, well, close to high rolled at 2k and is still good on HP.
Sid has a massive HP growth. Sid and Yang have the 2 highest HP growths in the game, so Sid being at 4k health is pretty easy for him. Which is why you normally will see him as like a what we call a chemist, throwing out cure 3s or elixirs on the party.
Yeah, Sid's one of those characters that you don't realize his value, because he's not so much a primary value giver. It's definitely secondary and tertiary in what he can do aside from damage. It's definitely he's overlooked because of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like every character has their own little niche thing about him. You've got Sid that has a massive HP pool, so he can take unnerfed Big Bangs, where if you got Cecil or Kane, they don't have great HP growths, but they have, damage that they can output, but that's the snap, crackle, boom, and Mombus is going down.
Now, with a final time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 34 seconds, Dia has gone 2-0 in this matchup and will be moving on to the next round. And just like that, I see Dia has joined us. So Dia, GG's on this match and the series in its entirety.
Thank you.
How was it to do a double header and just honestly run both of those to perfection almost? It was a real treat to watch.
I think the time in between the games was the worst part. Because, you're trying to, calm your nerves, calm down, but you're also trying to, just forget what you just played so that you don't get inventory mixed up, you don't get boss spots messed up. So, there's a lot that you're, it's just kind of hard to just calm yourself and get ready for the second one.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, having what we call as a seed bleed, where you have the mixture of seeds. But there's at least one question I have for you is, You had a quest for a defeat Valvalis, and we saw an early Kane at Baron Inn. Was there any thought in your mind of, I might need this Kane for a nasty Val?
No. Like Val, I always had sort of under control. I had Sid with a good bow and good arrows, so like worst comes to worst, if she's in a spot I can't nuke, I give him that. I give Rydia the Dragon Whip and just let it take as long as it takes. Because, like, at that point, I'm not planning on doing it anymore. I don't have anything at all for Kane to equip. So, I just don't want to take him.
Yeah, I think the only decent thing we saw for Kane was actually in the Treasury with a Gungnir Spear. So, yeah, it's... Can't fault for that logic. And if there's somebody that can take on Valvalis in the rudest of spots without the Kane solution... I would put my money on you and you alone.
I mean, it's not like I spent an entire tournament gambling that I wouldn't fight Val.
Fair.
So one other question is, when you came to be between Twin Harp and the Alt Gauntlet, what was going through your mind of, if Twin Harp doesn't have value, what am I gonna do?
If Twin Harp doesn't have value, I'm going to have choice words for Solaris.
And as it turned out that, yes, if you wanted that adamant, yeah, that gauntlet is just joined the table.
Yeah, and that's the worst alt gauntlet you can find, so glad I didn't have that. I am saving the seed though, so I can practice that and like learn that entire set though.
That Alt Gauntlet there could be quite nasty. You really need anti-machinery, as the Evil Mask is machines, and then of course the Artemis bows for the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely finding those the bow and arrow, like you mentioned, that was paying off in dividends, especially with just not really many uber physical fighters like the stereotypical Cecil. So yeah, you made those work, Dia.
Like overall, that main was actually pretty rude for my team setup. Like Ogo Pogo's just nasty because I don't have any way through that really except just Zerk, Sid, and Prey. Maybe I can get a couple spells out affected from Paladin, but you know, it's not consistent. Paladin's probably gonna die if I try. Well, whoever I put the wall on is probably gonna die because I can't blink them up. I can't heal them. So, and I had no white mage except for Fu, but Fu's doing damage. He's not really white mage for the most part. So yeah, it just kind of ended up where it's like, this isn't fun.
And even so, you made it look so simple. Even though it wasn't, it just, you did it so cleanly, and it was a treat to watch.
Thank you.
You
have any questions there, Asuka?
I mean, the big one of, all right, you've completed this week. You got some time to chill, decompress, and get ready for the next round. What is the game plan for you?
There are a lot of matches I do want to catch at least a couple games of, so gonna watch a few of those, but otherwise, you know, practice what I can, do most of the ladder races I've been doing, trying to keep up on like all the bracket flag ladder races, I mean. So, and then otherwise just relaxing, not trying to think too hard about it.
Yeah, that works for me. Tim, you got anything?
Nope, I'm good. But GG's again there, Dia. Very well run.
Thank you. And thanks to both of you, and today, Solaris, and everyone on the Restream team for the first match as well. Just thank all of you for putting this on. And for the people who were signed up for the third match, thank you as well. You're crazy as we all are.
Yeah, with that, dear GG's, and get some rest. You've earned this. Go sleep.
Right, thank you.
What is sleep, really? That is a foreign concept to me.
Yeah, looks like Possum's in the Z fight right now, doing a type of Fu and Friends. Because we're just throwing out the crystal, throwing out reflected nukes off of Fu. It's kind of a more advanced version of the 1200 HP strats, basically. You're just letting Zeromus take himself out.
That's always a really nice feeling. Be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna let you do all the work for me. Now, why is it that Possu decided to start doing the runaway animation when things are being cast?
You know, that I don't know, to be honest, why he's doing that. I know why he's pausing. He's pausing to remove the sound from the nuke. But as it goes for the running, wonder if he's trying to run buffer a little bit.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That's more of that agility, black magic stuff that I let smart people talk about, and I am not a smart person. That sprite though. I kid you not, I have not stopped smiling since it appeared.
Well, I think that is your sprite, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I've got a few at this point. I've got Zero Ward, I've got Virgil Miss, I saw an Angelo Miss for the first time, Mom Miss. Have you found your sprite yet, Tybalt?
I haven't had a sprite put into the pool.
Well, neither have I. It's just like Scala Kitty mentioned in chat. There's a sprite for everyone, even if you don't know it yet.
Well, in that case, then yes, I have at least found 2 sprites, and one of them, Scala. No, not Charmclaw. Scala actually rolled a seed on my birthday, and it was Diablo Miss. I was quite happy.
That would do it. And you know what else would do it? That last nuke was with that Mom Miss. The game has been found, and Mom Miss is going away because of it. So GG's to Possumorpheus with a final time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 45 seconds. And sure enough, the Call of Buttons has definitely brought in everybody's favorite Trash Panda. So Possu, GG's.
Well, GG's. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Dia.
So overall, how did you think that seed went?
Again, I thought the early game was fine. I could not get any traction keeping Palom alive to save my or his life, which was very unfortunate, losing out on a secondary source of damage, having to rely solely on Kane and Fusoya. In another world, maybe that helps make up the difference, but it's not 8 minutes of difference. That just tells me I got outplayed, and that's why Dia is one of the 3 best currently in this game. Pancraz, Dusty, and Dia. You can put them in whatever order you want, but those are the 3 I got in a tier of their own right now. And this just proves it.
I'm gonna pull a comment you say to me. Don't sell yourself short, because you are getting some love in chat, and you are very OP in and of yourself. So, just as a reminder and kindness bullying.
Oh, I know I'm on that next tier, and that's a perfectly fine place to be. I've only been in 2 of these tournaments. I've only been playing this for just over a year, and to finish top 16 in both is still a heck of an achievement. I'm very proud of that. One day I'll run into someone not named Dia in the round of 16, and maybe I will actually be able to advance further. But for now, she is kind of my hill to climb over, if you will. If I want to move on, I gotta get through Dia at some point.
The big shiny red button.
Buttons.
There it is.
So Possum, going over a little bit of the seed, you went to the treasury. Was that to look for something for Kane, for weaponry? And what was your reaction when you found what was actually in there?
Well, first of all, my reaction when I saw what was in there was Edge Please yesterday. With the double Murasame. That would have been something real nice to have. But the real reason was I figured I was well behind already at that point. and I figured why not give everybody the treasury. The reason I felt that was more or less you can kind of see what's going to happen when you're playing a seed. So I go and do ordeals under the expectation that there's going to be exactly not a Fusoya in Zot, so I can get Tella online. There's exactly a Fusoya in Zot, which is kind of sad. But even before that, I had bought a Dragon Whip for Rydia. I'd also bought a Samurai Bow. Immediately, within the next 10 chests I opened, there's a Dragon Whip and a Samurai Bow. After I turn in Sheila 1, there's a Dragon Whip. So you just kind of get a read on things that sometimes it's just not your night. And that's kind of what I felt before I got to Zot, and I was like, I'm just going to open up the treasury at this point, see what shinies I find, and go from there. There was no rhyme or reason other than I kind of figured I was done 20 minutes into the seed. But you can't ever quit. You can't ever just forfeit. You got to play it out. But it was just like, ugh. You know, I was getting signs very early on that it was not going to be a good run.
Well, and to be completely honest, give this a watch back. When you were on the moon, you were only one check behind Dia. When you're on the moon.
One check without a pass.
Yeah, without a pass. Pass was down in Feymarch.
Yeah.
So
I was multiple checks behind.
Yeah.
I appreciate the kind words there, but I have to correct it where it's proper.
I will say though, the checks that you were making, like comparatively on the moon, you were finishing in them in similar time. Yes, you were checks behind, but they were done in a similar speed. So
yeah. Well, I mean, with the party that we had and with the bosses that were up there, you're not going to get through Wyvern first try. So that's always going to be a reset. You're maybe going to get through Ogo first try. And I think I did, which was great, but it resulted in just Kane and Fu living. Not sure how the party turned out for Dia after that fight. Whether or not she even took it, I assume she did. And then Alt Gauntlet was a heck no. Val was not going to be fast. I tried to expedite it as much as possible with jumping and nuking. The real thing where I feel like I would have lost a lot of time was not having Palom alive to help with any sort of extra damage. I just could not keep the poor kid alive.
that makes sense. More of a technical mechanical question. In the Z fight, were you trying to run buffer for a while, like about midway through to the end, trying to figure that out with the running away with the nukes?
Something that I had seen, I want to say it was Rivers do, some time ago when he was doing a marathon race. He was just running through all of the cutscenes, basically, all of the dialogue, everything like that in the Zeromus fight, which is considerably longer in the vanilla game. So I'm told, and so I've seen anyway, not having done it myself. And someone in chat at that point was saying it saves, I think it's something like multiple minutes by just running away to speed up that animation. So that's something that I've been trying to do as a minor optimization for Zeromus fights that are heavy on reflect strats or have lots of animations, like when you're using a crystal or other things that may take a while for the animation to go off. Now, I might be completely misguided on that, but that's what I remember from actually seeing it. And chat saying it was actually Fred Coughlin. 12 seconds, not minutes. Well, it saves something.
Still, just, yeah, that is actually a really cool strat. I didn't know that was a thing.
And with these high level races, any time save that you can do always helps out. But you saw the Alt Gauntlet there up on the moon, and you noped out. What was your thoughts when you finished Val and you had either Twin Harp or the Alt Gauntlet?
That's not a decision.
Were you hoping that the Alt Gauntlet wasn't going to be required?
I'm not certain. In the moment, I just knew there was no way I was doing it. That party, first of all, was not set up well for it. I didn't have any way except for, I guess it would have been Sid, who was my anchor at that point with Artemis arrows and a samurai bow, to deal with dragons. No Dragoon Lance, didn't have Palom up to really do much for those. The Evil Masks, I didn't have a Thunderclaw for, I didn't have a hammer for. I just didn't have any way to exploit any of the weaknesses that you can in that gauntlet. So whether or not I hope it was required was irrelevant, because there was no way I could have done it quickly. So I had to hope that it was behind the Twin Harp, maybe there was some sort of chain into Baron, and kind of play it out from there. Now I did happen to see that it was Rat Tail to Baron Key to Demist Adamant with the spoon in the basement. So that was an alternative way to go mode, though I can't imagine a popular one.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one for sure. But unfortunately, with that match, you are knocked out of this tournament with a heck of a run, though. What are the plans for the great Free Enterprise Marsupial now?
I mean, I'm more than happy with how this tournament played out. It's an improvement on the last one, even though I'm finishing in the same rank, if you will. My only losses being to Dusty and Dia. Okay, sure. Those are two people who pretty much everyone loses to, so I'm fine with that. But the plans are basically going to be to try to continue some midday streams, some early morning streams, playing the ladder, do a lot of VOD reviews to help out new folks, do everything I possibly can to help give out some of that knowledge that everyone's been so kind to give to me over what's now been a year playing this. So folks like Woo Bear, Baka Shinobi, Invenerable, those are some of the folks, Moonblaze Wolf as well, who I started out watching and learned a ton from them. And they were always more than happy to answer questions from chat, divulge information, and I want to continue doing that for everyone.
If you haven't checked out those bot reviews, you teach so many things. It's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, that's the goal. Is I want to give back. I didn't get here by myself. There was a lot of other folks helping out, and I just want to make sure that we can help that next wave of players.
Yeah, I'm good. Tybalt, you got anything?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, now I know you tend to be marsupials tend to be nocturnal, but just like I told Dia, you have earned some sleep. So go get some sleep, and GG's for the fantastic performance.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Oscar and Tybalt on comms. Thank you to Solaris for rolling this one. Thank you to Antidale, I believe, for tracking. And thank you to the entire admin team for putting together the tournament. The two flag sets, I think, are, in my opinion anyway, the best I've seen yet. So keep up the great work on that end to the admin team. Always a fantastic job putting the entire tournament together. And yeah, I look forward to more of it. We'll definitely be back for the next one. So everyone have a blessed night, stay healthy, and we'll catch y'all next time.
GG's, Passu. Well, Tybalt, we're done, and we survived before bleeding into the next day-ish, at least for us.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely. But don't think we're done with Free Enterprise, because we never are, real talk. It does look like we are going to be raiding Poorly Drawn Bees. She's playing a ladder race and then doing some more Free Enterprise practice. Do not spoil anything. You'll get the bonk, and the bonk is heckin' painful. Again, GG's to Passu and Dia for the fantastic performance. Congrats to Dia for moving on to the next round, and one more shout out to the Restream team. Solaris being the Restreamer and rolling this seed, Antidale tracking everything and making everything look super cool and lit up and shiny. And shout out again to the wonderful Tybalt, who is a fantastic free enterprise. They're all fantastic free enterprise runners in their own right. I'm just here to bring down the average, but Tybalt, Antidale, Dia, Possu, Solaris, give all of them love, follows, and heckin' good times.
And don't forget about yourself there, Asuka. As I keep saying, you're wonderful too.
Yeah, memes are cool. And tell Emily that she was great this morning on comms. Yes, don't